Good evening. Um, wow, a lot of inspirational stories, and I want to thank John and Sandra for inviting me here tonight. So let's just get some of the things out of the way right off the bat. Yes, I am an athlete, hence the way I look today, wearing a full uniform. Um, my story started about 19 years ago or 18 years ago. Back in 2001, I was diagnosed with actually sepsis is how I've lost my limbs. In 2001, I was on my way to the bathroom. I'd asked my mom to wake me up early for an appointment. And on the way to the bathroom, I had passed out. Um, I woke up 3 months later after that. That night, they were given only a few hours to spend with me, and I was given my last rites. They were asked if they wanted to pull the plug on me because there are no chances of me surviving that night. Thankfully, they didn't, so here I am with you tonight. Um, Thank you. And I spent 2 years in hospital recovering, surgeries after surgeries after surgeries. The key in Canada and the United States is to save a limb as much as they can. But what had happened with me is because all my organs started shutting down as I go, as I recover, we had to keep going back and having more surgeries to correct whatever issue I was having. Fast forward to 2017, or actually 2016, fall of 2016. I was living overseas, and I had come into an infection. Now, this infection has been going on for the last 15 years before that time, and we had just always been managing with having a little bit more surgery to remove the infection, having a little bit of medication, going on IV treatments and whatnot to keep the infection down. In 2017, or 2016, I was living overseas, like I said, and I couldn't speak to anyone about my issue because of the language barrier that obviously I was living in Asia and I couldn't speak the language. And I didn't know what the medical treatment would be like, not having the understanding of what my treatment would be like overseas. So I moved back to Canada, talked to my doctor, and my doctor looked up at me with just this face. And I knew exactly what I needed to do after that. I said, take it off. He said, are you sure? He said, I'd like you to speak to another doctor before you make that decision. I spoke to another doctor, and he said, yes. There's no more point in removing one more bone. We have to go above the infection, hence the left below knee in 2017. I had this leg done January 10, 2017. I spent 5 weeks in rehab centers, actually the Sunnybrook Rehab Center here in Toronto. And you have a lot of time in hospital, thinking, kind of wondering what's next. I never dwelled once on what could have been or what would have been had I not gone through what I've gone through. What I did instead, in those moments where I'm alone with myself, was think about how do I move forward from here? I can't look back at what had happened, why me, or blame everything else before that time. There's something funny about waking up from a coma, I should say. It felt overnight, but it's been 3 months. I don't know what time is lost during that whole time. But what I know is what I can do moving forward. So I looked up online and I said, you know what? I think I want to go back to running. I've always enjoyed running. I played basketball before I became disabled in 2001. And I wanted to go back to living an active life. I signed up for my first race, not knowing it was going to be 5 months after my amputation. I didn't tell anyone. Now, just a disclaimer, that's not really a good idea to not tell someone that you're going to do a run. But what I did instead is I formulated my questions the way I wanted to ask my physiotherapists, my occupational therapists, so that I could run safely that race. I did my race 5 months after my amputation, not telling anyone, because it was important for me. I was doing it for me. I was not doing it to show up anyone or anybody else. I needed that win for me to know that I am okay. We talked about self-love tonight. We talked about owning your truth. We talked about celebrating. Those little goals that we put ourselves in, and those little things that we say to ourselves Yes, you can do this. Listening to that small voice that says, you can. Just do it. Wrong logo, but whatever. Um, um, but really, it is. It's just a matter of getting up that morning and saying, I can do this. Whatever that small challenge may be that you have for the day, get up. My first goal, and people usually look at me funny when I say this, was to get up to pee. There's nothing, there's nothing like standing up to pee for a guy. It gives you the dignity that you're back. And that's all I really wanted, was to stand up to pee. So to run my first 5K race, 5 months after amputation, when I got that medal and I crossed that finish line, I said, I'm back. And thank you. I made a commitment to myself that I will run one 5K race every month, and I have been for the last 2 years. I ran my first international race in 2018 in London, England, in a city versus the wharf race. This year, January 10, 2019, I lost my right limb because of the exact same reason. I have not run my race yet for this year, but I'm getting there. I actually have running blades as well that I use. And so we need to fix that socket before I can go and run again. But I know I will get there because I still get up in the morning. I still have those little goals throughout the day that adds up to the big goal that I want for my life. Because truly loving yourself and truly being your truth will set you free like everyone else has said tonight. If there's anything I want you to walk away from my story tonight, is just that. Don't let the challenges define who you are. Don't let those challenges destroy you. What my challenges did for me is it helped me uncover the potential that I have as both an athlete and as a person. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
This is for you, my friend.